Alright, hi everyone. This is Ian Contact me, also known as Katie. I sincerely apologize, but I'm sorry to interrupt your day to bring you another rant slash let's talk. Since you guys really were interested about me doing a let's talk about suicide and how it, it should be approached in a kind of more of a serious manner than rather than joking. Um, Bullying is also a very sensitive and very kind of slowly becoming a much more mature topic we need to deal with nowadays, especially with all the types of with the three different types of forms: the physical, the emotional, and cyber. Now, I I'm not gonna be sugarcoating this shit. I will be saying it straight out. And I do apologize for swearing, but yeah, I'm gonna try to not let my emotions get to me. Right. So with bullying, that's basically bullying as in itself. A lot of people are kind of go, oh yeah, we shouldn't be bullying. Oh, I'm not a bully. Oh, I am a victim of bullying, or something along those lines. Oh, I've been a bystander to bullying. It doesn't. I don't care. I literally don't care if you're one of these categories. It's like okay if you're one of them. Have have you really changed since then, or better yet, here's the question: have you actually learned anything during your experience with the bullying? And if so, have you done actually anything for as an individual or for as taking part of a community to try to stop it? Ask yourself that if you have done that. If your answer is no, then no offense, you learned nothing from the bullying. Well, you learned how you dealt with it, but again, it depends on like what the extremity is, or how extreme it is. Sorry, I forgot. Extremity is no word. Like some say it's like, oh, mine was so minor. It's like it was kind of like teasing, or it can go all the way towards like people killing themselves all because of it. Now, why people drive each like tend to want to drive to each other to death? I know it's like survival of the fittest, but sometimes this way is not right because no offense, if you don't see animals doing it to other animals, why are only us, the human race, why are we the only ones connected to this hostility to our same kind? Or better yet, to each other, though we know, even though it's like we could be from a different culture, and yet we target them because of it. Now, I will be talking about a few things. But the first thing we're going to be talking about is what should be done. And then the follow-up question is, what are we actually doing for these types of bullying? So, the what should be done. I'm going to be separating into three different categories for both these questions. What should be done? Physical. What are we doing? Physical. And so on. Now, what should be done with the physical bullying? Easy. Break up the fight and punish and like give some teach basically give the explanation or bring up the consequences of what bullying actually brings. That could actually be a very good start. It's telling them what the consequences are to this. ask them why is this happening. It's like, but are we actually doing it? No, we're not. So pretty much it depends on where it is going on at, and who witnesses it, if it actually is being witnessed now, or if it's even being told to another person. Doing by the physical bullying, it creates a huge fear factor. And this fear factor drives us into one and not telling one in case we get it worse. Or something worse. That's our gut feeling, or the first instinct, but yet if you're brave enough to come and you tell someone, is it really being done? Now, if you're at school, then maybe it might be like a slap on the hand, apologize, or better yet, you lose any recesses. If you're in elementary school, that will be pretty much the first. If in high school, you will be sent home for the day. University or college, I got no clue on that. No offense, but if we're all adults and this is going on, no offense, but that's pretty goddamn pathetic. Just do that though. Now, if we told someone about it, well, and we're in elementary school, but this happens out of school, that's a different thing. It's like the parents will be kind of like upset. Yes, comfort the kid or comfort the victim, and then like try to see if you can call up the other parents, tell them, and blah blah blah. That's just their typical thing. But really, it's then the parents will just comfort. If depending on what type of parents they are, they will just comfort. So that will be the first thing, is to try to comfort them. But other than that, it can vary depending on the family and how they were raised with the certain situation. If you're in high school, do you really think if you really think the parents are really gonna give a damn? Not really. It's gonna be like, kind of like, concerned, yes. Are we gonna really be doing about it? Anything about it? No, because if, and the people blame the other people, like, or the other parents, for like being a bad kid or raising a bad child, and they could be bad parents themselves. It's like, that's reality. That situation again, college and university. If this is going on, if you're the bully on that, it's pretty goddamn pathetic. You're an adult. Grow up. Tough. Life is tough. No offense. Some people have it worse than you. Yes. And you're probably bullying one of them. Who knows? Now, that's only saying stuff about the physical. What I meant by emotional bullying, that's kind of like more of being more manipulative, or easier to say this because this brings up a huge picture. Sorry, is blackmail. You could say if someone keeps blackmailing you, that is technically would be considered emotional bullying, but that's in my case. That's what I have seen a lot from emotional bullying. It's like you kind of attack at their weak points, or you were friends with them once, but somehow you're bullying them based on secrets, weak points, or better yet, you just blackmail. Pretty much, what should we do about it? Now, at school, it's very harder because you don't know who can be doing it. Because there are times where the perfect little saints of the school can actually be a very nasty person. So it's a little bit harder. But if the victim can tell someone then about, and actually give them the details on who's doing it, then maybe probably more likely it's like probably give them a lecture. But it shouldn't be so hard because again, it's only going through that. It's not, yes, it's going to leave some emotional scars. but actually trying to build up the trust actually possibly can help. If it's like, okay, you're going to spend this much, like say if it's like a scolding, or better yet, you make them stay together for a certain amount of time, say around like 2 weeks, and maybe like just get them to hang out and actually try to be friendly with each other, then maybe they actually might be, have a little bit some like can possibly smooth things out. If not, um then it's probably going to be going back to the physical. Something should be like a punishment should be set off, because it's like what I'm talking about with emotional. It ain't that bad. It really isn't. Now, same thing with high school. High school, that's all. No offense, but that's all your clusterfuck, and a lot of emotional bullying there, because it's like, oh, blah 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 blah. We're gonna say that, and again, pardon for my swearing, but say like, oh yeah, I heard so and so this. Oh, I heard you're a slut. Or I'll say that you're a slut, unless you do something for me. That's kind of like that stuff. But that will be mainly in high school. Hell, even in college or university. I'm no offense, but adults can be really nasty when it comes to trying to manipulate with words. And it works. So, and the same thing should be done. But it's like, okay, you're adults. You should know you shouldn't be doing it. If it's like a unconscious habit, maybe you kind of have yourself tied into a very toxic habit. And maybe you might need to go at least talk to someone, not a really bullying way, about said problem. Hold on. Sorry, back. Um, Now, what are we doing about this? Literally, since as I said, it is so hard to actually pinpoint who's actually doing it, when is it actually happening. It is so difficult to find out what are we actually going to do about this. And for now, like, try to. The best way I can say is to any of the victims is tell someone on to a higher up than you. Say like your school principal, if you're to the school principal. If it gets way too extreme though, where you fear for your life, then tell like the authorities about this. It just depends on how extreme it can go. Because with the physical bullying, it's like you could actually. And again, it depends. Now, cyberbullying, a very interesting topic because again, YouTube here has a pretty goddamn bad rep for having so much people hating in the comments, or just because they have a different opinion, or they want to say something that is completely different. I know this because when I first started, I got the comment, "Go kill yourself." Now, again, not appropriate. Especially since you're an adult and at that time I was a child. Kinda, you ain't that smart. Well, so going on to the cyberbullying is pretty much what should be done. No offense, but if any kind of cyberbullying, I think at this point it's like there should be a little flag that you can just like, or like some sort of symbol, like on any website that you can comment on or just hate on, that it's more likely people gonna hate on you. It's like, okay, I'm gonna press it if I consider this cyberbullying and this can be sent in and just or kind of saved. And if it gets too more extreme, if you probably get enough of them, and you just tap on it again and saying kind of saying like going overboard, I think at that point in time it should be sent to the police then. But again, if that can only what I hope to be going on. But other than that, it's like okay, any type of hate that's going on in YouTube, probably the more easiest way is kind of just go about it in positivity. Like if they're making fun on you on the internet, then again, isn't the best way. Because I know like there's a saying any publicity is good publicity. At the same time, I think at that point in time, you kind of need to tell someone, like literally an authority of it, kind of, because it can lead up to really bad states. If you haven't noticed, kind of suicide rates are going up again. No offense, but the more funnier way or basically the most common way it's going by with the bullying, believe it or not, with this said technology, cyberbullying is the highest thing that will cause suicide. That's sad to say. Now, what are we doing about suicide? With the not suicide, pardon. What are we doing about the cyberbullying? I know it should be. I know this should be a very serious topic, but that mess up fucked me over. Um, Pretty much all I can say is we're doing nothing. We are doing nothing on the cyberbullying because you want to know what everyone's excuse is, because we have the freedom of speech. Yes, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys. I am gonna be very harsh right now. So if you don't like it, probably skim over until I start talking about the possible future of it. Now, the reason why I'm saying we're doing nothing is because we're literally doing jack shit. We have freedom of fucking speech. But that doesn't mean there isn't a limit of what we can say before it crosses that unspoken barrier. So yes, it's possible to hate on something, but more likely you should be doing it in a respectful way. If it slowly transitions into kind of more threatening version of cyberbullying, then that's starting to cross that line very slowly. But as soon as that death threats comes out, it's pretty much well, it's pretty much neck deep in the it crossed the barrier or it crossed the line. So all I can really so pretty much what's going on is pretty much that I'm being honest. There is a very, 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 very thin line on freedom of speech, especially with this type of bullying. If we are able to kind of tell people there's a thin line for freedom of speech before it becomes cyberbullying, then maybe we can actually do something about it. All we can really do realistically is just say, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, and like kind of scolding, but at the same time there are so many people using the internet, no offense, but and all this hate, all the death threats are now saved into the internet. I believe it or not, everything's probably more likely going to be saved. So with the cyberbullying, it's a very difficult topic because again, there's very limited resources we have that we can actually do something about it, and there's like a very small chance that we would be possibly able to do something about it. It's a kind of lose-lose situation with how limited there are and how vast the internet is and how vast this hatred is spread within the internet. You look at any hateful trends going on, it's pretty much very, very bad. It just creates like a pretty much a snowball of hatred, and it just continues to grow and grow and grow. Alright, so moving on from that. What is the possible future of bullying? Now, as I said, with the cyberbullying, how it's continuing to grow, so cyberbullying, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I think the cyberbullying is actually going to continue to grow until people are actually going to be putting their foot down and actually going to say, this is enough, we need to do something about this. But unfortunately, since there's not, I know for certain, it's gonna continue. Now, physical bullying, that's able to stop at some point when people are finally gonna be like, we can't take our anger off of it. There's many different things we can express our anger with. If you give them the option to do something else to express their anger, then maybe. If not, if they don't go for that, just give them a literal punching bag, and let them punch away. Or basically with the emotional bullying, or I should say verbal bullying. It's like, okay, it is going down from what I can see. It is going down a bit, or it's like kind of becoming a little bit more hidden, but at the same time, it is decreasing at some level. Because if so, there'd be a lot. Because if so, I cannot speak today. If so, pretty much there'll be a lot more anxiety continuing to grow and grow and grow. Because you don't know, or better yet, there are more high if they continue, or the people had continued from an early age to an adult and then are still doing it. No offense, but they're more likely to be a sociopath. While if the physical continues, even though they got options and they don't choose to, but they chose to bully, physically hurt another and continue until God knows who or when, they have higher chances to be abusive in a relationship, or in some cases psychopaths. It just depends on the situation. Now, again, going back to cyberbullying, now there are a lot of groups that are kind of forming, and a lot of sites and organizations that are appearing on the internet for like, we need to stop this and blah blah blah. But yes, but what are you gonna affect? Who are you trying to interest into helping stop this? Because yes, you're smaller organizations, you're newer. You need to appeal to people. It's like you need to give them show them the harsh reality, or kind of show an interesting way on putting it out, but giving them the reality of the situation and how bad it can be. Like with For example, like with the dumb ways to die, how that was like portrayed, how that was like like watch out for trains. That caught a lot of people's attention, but it also gave some information that trains are dangerous. But there's many ways to die. There's many ways to die, but it seems like the trains had a little bit higher chance during that video. And that could be a way to help solve this. Everything it can be solved. Everything does have a fine line on if like okay, when we can actually tolerate it for so long until we need to bring in the authorities, or until we have our parents, we have principals and such, we have older friends or older siblings who can help us during this time. But if this does not continue and it will get worse, the authorities are going to be called in. And same thing as they said in like last live stream about Let's Talk, in the last Let's Talk. Bullying is more connected to suicide more than anything, and is continuing to grow. And that's just sad to say. And from my personal experience, I have been bullied for like close around like 9 to 8 years. From that time, it hurt. It hurt basically anything I really believed in, because I was such a happy child, and then all of a sudden I am more stoic. I lost a lot of things I used to like. I barely do anything anymore except sleep. It does take a huge toll on you as a victim. More than anything. It's the bullies, they don't get any of the consequences unless they are caught. And that's typically, other than they can hold the guilt around them, but how long until they really forget? Let's be honest. Until they, and who knows? Okay, kind of straying off a bit. I understand. I'm just gonna stray off a little bit more before I go back and finally ending this. But a little side story about my personal experience with the bullying. It's like it's basically I was known to be one of the most popular children because I had a grandparent as a teacher, so I was treated so nice. I was the teacher's pet, I was happy, I was friendly, and I pretty much done almost anything to please people. I was a people pleaser. Now, pretty much not, then it's kind of like, all of a sudden, this one bitch came into my life, decided to take it all away from me, and leave me with the bad kid. So yeah, I decided okay, no one likes me other than her. This person can tolerate my existence, so I'll play with her for a year. So I did, and I got in a lot more trouble. But it's okay, so because at that point in time, the bullying really kind of broke me to the point where I no longer gave a damn. And it's kind of sad to say. It's okay, I'm now kind of reminiscing about who I really was back then. I was such a good kid. I was known as an angel, and all of a sudden, I quickly turned into a demon. It only takes a few seconds to kind of to break someone. from like, okay, nothing bad had really happened to me other than sand kicked in my face, rocks thrown at my head, or pummeled with plastic toys, and having a nice scar decorating my cheek. I will, if you really want to know about the scar, I put that in the comments and ask me what's a scar story, and I will tell you. But sorry, went off track. But yeah, bullying, I know for a fact it isn't this problem we can solve like overnight. It is something that will have to be continuously built around, built upon. It's like, okay, we have the bullying problem. It's what could we do to stop it? What are the what are the resources we have? Depending on the type and the situation, what could we do? And what are the possible outcomes for each scenario we produce? We need to have something like that to be able to solve this problem. But again, this would be more of an accumulated over time. This is not like an overnight. Like, if anything, maybe it might take even years upon years to finally do a little bit of change with bullying. Because if it gone to the point where basically a lot of people are kind of like doing like, oh yeah, I was bullied too by blah blah, or oh yeah, this person has done this because they said something incorrect, even though it's like that was just their opinion. It's very difficult to say really if people don't change the bullying from if they start in elementary and end in college or university like that. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, it's really difficult to change them. I do hope you understand, and I hope you guys have a good night. But please, down in the comments, let me know what should be done as an individual to what we know or what we experienced or what we as like say as a past bully, as a past victim, as a present bully, as a present victim, or and like what can we do as a community in from like over the internet or over all over the world? What can we actually do to bring light upon this and actually kind of like, okay, let's dissect it. Let's all try to do our part in helping those who need this help with the bullying, because realistically it's like when kids are 13, 14, 10, 12 and so on, when they're all are committing suicide over it, and it's like and it's slowly and the death rate slowly raising. Do you really think it's time to just sit there, watch, continue the bullying, except on a different person, or is it finally time to realize what we done is wrong? We need to try to fix this so there's no more problems like this for our future. If you're my age, I don't want it for my future kids. I don't want it for my future grandchildren. Hell, I don't want it for my future great grandchildren. Because I've been through it. Again, I've been through it for years, and it sucks. It demolishes a person's how a person behaves, how a person can react to certain situations, breaks down their psyche. Hell, it even breaks down the will to do anything or the will to live. Hence why all the suicides and many suicide attempts. So I do recommend, if you're watching this, then please check out my suicide Let's Talk, because you might get some more insight about what I mean by with the suicide and how to deal with it if it actually happens from the bullying. It could help.